Hello guys, welcome to Rex Arthur's TV. This is the Rex Arthur Show where we discuss LGBTQ issues with an LGBTQ approach and an LGBTQ perspective in an LGBTQ plus planet. It is raining like cats and dogs here in Kenya, Africa, but we are happy to continue doing the job. Congratulations to cyber technology that is not hindered by rain. We say hallelujah to that. All right. Now we are back to running the UDHR marathon, and the marathon is going on. We are now in lap 21, article 21. That's the right to take part in government. Everyone has a right to take part in the government of his country directly or through freely chosen representatives. Everyone has a right to equal access to public service in his country. The will of the people shall be the basis of the authority of the government, and this shall be expressed in periodic and genuine elections, which shall be by universal and equal suffrage, and shall be held by secret vote or by equivalent free voting procedures. Now, of course, Dambisa Moyo wrote a book, The Edge of Chaos, and she is rubbishing the current democratic system of the world that allows everybody to vote. And I can understand that, because what's the people? Who are the people? Who are the people? As long as we do not define the people. Of course, the people, to me, if you tell me the people are the majority, not the minority. In an election, the majority votes that win an election, those are the people. Yes. That is the understanding. Because if you vote in an election and there are two candidates, let's say two candidates, like what happened in America, Trump and Hillary Clinton. Okay, I don't want to use that one because that one is very complicated. Let's say, okay, what happened in Zimbabwe, Mnangagwa and Chamisa. Now, Mnangagwa won the election by, I think, 53%. And so Chamisa must have won by 47%. So the voters who voted for Mnangagwa, those are the people. In my understanding of the word the people, those are the people ruling Zimbabwe. So Chamisa's people are not, their views may not necessarily be seen in the rule of Zimbabwe. So Mnangagwa is in power because of the 53%. You see, that majority vote is what has bored him to the presidency. So to me, the people are the majority votes in an election. After every 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, 4 years, those are the controllers of the country. Yes, those are the people. The rest of you, if you voted for the one who lost, you are in the government, but you're not so much in the government. You're just opposing in case. That's why you're not on the opposition side. You're just opposing in case things are not working very well. So this is why everybody tries to work hard to be in government. Reason being, it is the majority that forms government. It is the majority. Now in America, it was different. America, Hillary Clinton won the majority vote, but Trump won the electoral college vote, the majority electoral college vote. So in America, the electoral college vote is the one that takes the day, not necessarily the public majority vote. And the American system is what Dambisa Moyo, I don't know whether she knows it, but she is maybe unconsciously trying to encourage the world to adopt the American system of democracy. Because America's system is that the electoral college, the people of a state pick representatives to go and make electoral college votes. They belong to a college. So you pick people who will represent you when the electoral college goes to vote. Then the public vote is for the everybody who is a citizen of America and wants to vote. Now, why is there an electoral college? The history of electoral college, we won't do it right now. We'll do it next time when we talk about America, when we are more at ease. The history of the electoral college was that America, the population of America started increasing, and and not only that, America was a federation of states. So every state can become an independent country on its own, even till today. Yes, there is a state that can choose to leave America and decide to be a country on its own and do its own things, but none has done that so far. So what happens is the American society was stratified to have elites and common workers. So the elites were the ones who would make up the colleges because they were very educated and they were reading and they were very political. They were politicians. But the common workers, they were just building and all of this. And remember, slaves were also there. So it was a very stratified society. Especially a society that has slaves is a society that's highly stratified. And remember, America was a colony of Britain, which is a kingdom. So it carried the stratified system of nobility to America without them knowing. So what happens is these elites are formed, they would now be in those electoral colleges to vote for a leader. Why? Because sometimes if you let the public vote for somebody, they may put in somebody that may not be really very necessary for the country, but they'll pick him for any reason. You know, some people, have you met voters? They can even vote somebody because of how they look. They are very handsome. Oh, he's so hot. I remember Marco Rubio, very handsome. I mean, Republicans who like looking at handsome men, they will put Marco Rubio over Ted Cruz. You know, Ted Cruz is a bit chubby. But Marco Rubio is in the middle, is okay. So, you know, so some people, they will vote for Marco Rubio because of how he looks, but not what this other person says, you see. Not with the issues. Now, you'll find if Marco Rubio wins because of his looks, he becomes a president, not because of his political acumen, but because of his physical acumen, the fact that he's sexy. Now, that's why in the American system, they brought the electoral college system. Then they brought debates so that you can listen to the matter, issues of the person speaking. Now, so the electoral college system is more elitist because it's for educated people and people who know the issues. They are grassroots leaders, they are political leaders. So that's what you do. So I think Dambiza Moyo is advocating for the American system to be implanted everywhere where there's a democracy, or else countries will collapse because in her view, they should be, not everybody's vote should be valued because of the education they have. Do you know there are people who don't even know who is the president of their country? They don't even know who is the minister, and then they'll come and vote again. You see, that's so her reasoning was give more value to votes of people who are intellectual, and of course the argument was that is this who the people, and they just assume it's people. I have explained it to you. If they have failed, my definition. My definition is, the problem with that is that if you stay in the majority, like you see, that's what happened in America. America, the reason why the white race has been developed is because they have been having very many white presidents. But that is changing because Obama came in, and even Michelle Obama is a potential presidential candidate. So when you look at America, um, the black Americans, of course, like Obama became a president, and then, as I've told you, Oprah Winfrey threw a hint that she can run, and then you have Michelle Obama. She's a potential candidate, and even Kanye West. You know, they were inspired by the fact that Obama did it and he managed 2 terms. Can you imagine? And then you have Hispanics. So what's going to happen is America is going to have a diverse pool of presidents from different races because of the way the country is diversifying at a very fast rate, equal opportunity. Because let me tell you, the importance of the Barack Obama presidency, you've got to understand the importance. It is too important. Is that he was a black man who got to study and get through Harvard and get through all the universities he went through and become a senator. It could not have happened in the 1940s, in the 1930s. That's the importance of the Obama presidency. Never forget that it came to show that anybody can make it if they put in hard work and they have the political acumen. They will get there. And he broke the ceiling. You know, he tore down the curtain that divides the holy place from the holy of holies to the holy place. You know, that curtain in the Jewish temple, it was only the high priest who could enter. So even in America, the holy of holies was only entered by white people. But alas and behold, the curtain was torn, and Barack Obama tore the curtain, and now anybody can enter into the Holy of Holies. Of course, we thought Hillary Clinton was going to be the first woman to enter the Holy of Holies. But guess what? She didn't. But it's not that she can't. She tried. Everybody. So what I'm just trying to say is, that is the power of democracy, and it's a numbers game, and you have to, and not just a numbers game like the national or race, that you want to have very many white people or you want to have very many Hispanic people. Like, I mean, Obama came from, the beauty of Obama's presidency, he was a minority race. Blacks just make up less than 20% of the population. So if it was about population numbers, I mean, Obama would never win. If it was because all the black people voted for him and no white person voted for him, he wouldn't. But there are white people who voted for him. Reason? Majority voters is not based on population only. Majority voters is based also on ideas. If you have a very good idea that's very popular with the people, you will win the election. You don't even need to demand women to give birth. You know, I was laughing at some politician he wants women to give birth to many babies so that he can, before they divide the constituency so that they can have votes. And I said, no, that's not how you do it. I mean, there are very many ways of winning an election. Sometimes it's not having very many people. It's just having very good ideas. Sit down, keep quiet, go and write and plan a country, plan a constituency, plan a province. And then when you have the very good idea, and don't tell anybody, that's why I said keep quiet, because ideas are very expensive. You know, when they want to hear your idea. That's why, you know, some opposition parties do not tell the ruling parties their ideas, because the blueprints, because they can hear it and then they now implement it. So that's what you need to understand about democracy. And of course, so Dambisa Moyo, why I'm talking about her much in this article of Forming Government, it's a very important book to read because it is the problem about what we are facing right now. Actually, I had done a review of her book, and I will do another review again of her book properly, and because she understands where we are right now. We are in chaos. Please understand that, and it's transitional chaos. The world is now aware about many things that are wrong with the world system. In 1900, nobody was aware the way we are aware today. So that's the reason why there's transitional chaos. There's chaos everywhere. And so we are now trying to prepare the things, and we're trying to put things in order, and then we'll get out of the chaos. And for some astrotheologians or astrologers, they believe we're entering the age of Aquarius. And I tend to believe that we are entering the age of science, and we're leaving the age of religion. The age of religion, it's not that religion is bad, it's that it's less scientific. You see, the religious age, the age of Pisces, there was a lot of war, there was a lot of everything, and these wars were happening because people were ignorant about science. But in the age of Aquarius, we are now very scientific. Everybody knows what's happening everywhere, everybody knows systems, everybody knows the cyber warfare. Look at Mueller and his investigations. Have you ever seen this happen in America? Never in America have investigations taken more than a year. Probing the Russian election meddling, it has taken years. Reason, we now have data. We can get data. We can even follow people's phones. It is unbelievable. So you've got to understand that we are now in the Aquarian age. There's a lot of consciousness. Everyone is awake. Everyone is aware. We know science. Okay, not everyone, but majority. More and more people are getting more aware and aware. We now know how the system is run. It's no longer conspiracy theories. People now know what is happening in the world. Majority. So because of that, there is chaos. And I'm calling it transitional chaos. So it may take 20 years, because remember, we're living with people who have the old data. And then we have the people who have the mix of the old and the new data. And then you have the children who are being born in the 21st century. Remember, 2018 is the most important year in the century, because the children who are born in the 21st century, the year 2000, this is the year they have become 18 years old. A very important age. So, of course, 2016 is also a very important year, because that's the year in some countries, that's when somebody becomes an adult, when you're 16. So all of those who were born in the year 2000 became 16 in 2016, and that was a significant year in the century. And then in countries whereby 18-year-olds are very important, they become adults when they're 18. 2018 is the most significant year for because these are the first children born in the century, in the 21st century, meaning they have no baggage, absolutely no baggage from the 20th century. The rest of us, we have baggage from the 20th century. So we are now old news. Thanks to 2018 and 2016, we are becoming old, because the young guys who are now 18, they are hot-blooded. So between now and 2030, you're going to see fresh Mark Zuckerbergs. Yes, fresh. Because Mark Zuckerberg, when did he start becoming very rich? When he was 25, 26. So the child who was born in 2000, now is an adult, he's 18. He give him 6 years, and he's thinking about the new thing he's going to do. He's a millennial. We don't know where he is or where she is. And they're going to break the glass ceiling. Of course, for some people, they believe 2020 is going to be the year that drama is going to happen in the world, that the world is going to break out. And we are always playing with numbers, and 2020 is a very interesting, because there'll be no 2020. Imagine two 20s following each other. So politically, things are changing. So you're having young people who are very political and very economic. So there'll be a Mark Zuckerberg by 2025, another one. And he may not be American, he may be Chinese. As I've told you, this handsome Chinese doctor that made the first genetically modified humans. Congratulations to him. Yes, he is handsome. We'll get his number. Anyway, and he has made the first two girls who have blood that is HIV resistant. They don't even need medication. They can sleep with whomever they want and will not get HIV. That is what's going to be. That's the greatest thing that has happened in human evolution and genetic science. So, what do I mean by that? And he's a very young man. He's not even 30. And so these are the people who are now coming. These children who are born, especially in the 21st century, they have no baggage. And I'm so sorry, I'm now talking so mystically. They have not seen the age, the 20th century. They have never felt it. The forces that were in the air, they have not smelled. They have now come to the 21st century, smelling the gases and the spirits and the forces in the 21st century. They have now received them and are going to lead us. So it's gonna be a good time. And that's what Dambiza Moyo is now saying. We are on the edge of chaos. And because democracy is being changed, that's why I'm even saying the UDHR is a constitution that needs going through and amendments because of the changes that are happening in the world. All right, so let's finish here. Every citizen shall have the right to participate freely in the government of his country, either directly or through freely chosen representatives in accordance with the provisions of the law. Now, what you need to understand, as I told you, in an election, we the people are the majority voters that win the election. But if you've lost an election, it's not the end of the world. You become the opposition side and you make noise, you clamor. That's direct involvement in direct participation in government. When you see the government doing something that you don't like, go out and protest, or go hold a conference and say, excuse me, this is not what we want, or form a political party. That is freedom of association. That is how. So use your freedoms to, or have a YouTube channel and discuss your government's issues and what you want to see. That is called using your freedoms to participate in government, to participate freely in the government of your country by using the freedoms. There's a freedom of, you see, these freedoms, the beauty of them, you can use them to survive anywhere in the world. That's why we are going through them. For example, if you live in a country whereby you really hate the government, it's your home country, but you don't like it, you have freedom to move. Yes, that's how you do. Number two, but as I told you, it's very hard for people to move out of their countries because they have affection, they are connected to the country. So this is why most refugees run away from violence and persecution. That is a very physical presence to cause one to move out of a country. You can never move out of a place, but the moment war breaks out, believe you me, you'll move out. You see what has happened in Syria? Over 5 million people are out of Syria. Can you imagine 5 million humans? That's worse than the Serengeti migration. Why? Because of war. If there was no war in Syria, let me tell you, even the European economy now would be a different thing. Are you seeing the power of war? It can change events. The power of events, they have an effect on
economies. They have a very big event on economies. So, war or peace, because if there was peace in Syria, what would that mean for the economy of Syria? And what would that mean for the economy of Europe? Maybe the economy of Europe would not do as well. Europe would be looking for people to fill up, because now houses in Germany are being filled up by refugees. Now, what if there are no refugees? Who are going to fill up those houses in Germany? You see? So Germany would have had a demographic problem. So it's like the war in Syria has actually helped Germany, because now they have citizens who have come from Syria to fill the demographic gap that they were suffering from. Of course, Britain is still does not have a demographic problem, because they know how to balance their population. That's why they even feel like they can leave EU. Yes, you're joking with Britain. They can even decide to. In fact, their problem is that right now, the Union, the United Kingdom, is what's being affected by the Brexit, because Scotland wants to stay in EU. Ireland wants to stay in EU. Of course, it's not part of the kingdom, but if Ireland wants to stay in EU, it will affect the Northern Ireland border, because then it means Northern Ireland will have to be in EU, and Northern Ireland is part of UK. So there's a lot of wrangles because of the union of UK. If it was one country, whereby Scotland was a country, yeah, I mean, Scotland is part of UK and it's not clamoring to be away from UK, then it would not be a problem. EU, leaving EU, it would include Scotland. But because Scotland, the Scottish nationalists want to remain in EU, they are not happy with what is happening in the Brexit. So the problem of Brexit is more, it's political. It's not economic. It's because Scotland feels it will gain more in EU than out of EU. That's the war. And the danger is United Kingdom may cease to exist, and Britain will become England. Yes, it will now become England. Then you have Scotland, then you have Wales. Wales will be a country on its own. Scotland a country on its own. And Northern Ireland a country on its own. And now these countries they can choose to join EU. So you may find Wales will now be a member of EU. Scotland will be a member of EU. Because if Scotland stays in the EU, that means the United Kingdom is gone, because Scotland is now not part of the United Kingdom, because the United Kingdom is not part of EU. So it means Scotland has to leave the kingdom, and it will not be a United Kingdom anymore. So it's a very, very historic time that Britain is in right now, and it's because of politics, the right to participate in government. And now the EU also has to evolve or revolve, because these people, the complaint of people about the EU is that they do not elect these leaders. You see? And this is what we call participation in government. Oh, EU is one heck of in fact, the only thing that has saved them is the economic aspect. They have made enough money through EU. But politically, it's a nightmare. And because participation in government is so hard. America, the beauty of America, it's a union that uses one language. But EU is a union that has very many languages. So participating in such a government is as near as chaos. It's a pure Tower of Babel. So it's just confusion upon confusion. My suggestion to Europe was they needed to have one language, and all the European children should learn English. Yes, that is my solution to EU. All European children born in the 21st century, because none is now born in the 20th century. They are all adults now. So all children born in this 21st century should learn English in Europe as a first language. Yes, so that Europe can become one a region, even if you are multilingual, but everybody speaks English, the laws are in English, the parliament, EU parliament is in English, you save time. And of course, not that we are firing the translators. People will still remain multilingual, but they must learn English and should know it. That way, it will make it very easy for even English people to remain in EU. Yes, because you see, the British can go and live in Lithuania and speak their English because everything is English. But the problem Europe has, the population of young people is the least. It's very weird. So the young people are few. So the old people cannot learn English. They are tired computers. So you can't, even if you feed in English right now, they are not able to process it that fast like a young person. And the young people are few. So it is complete chaos in EU politically. Economically, they're doing well because do you know why they're doing well economically? Can someone tell me? They have one currency, euro. That is why they are doing well economically. Do you know why they are not doing well politically? They have more than one language. That's why they're not doing well politically. Do you know why the Islamic Union of Nations, Arab League, it does well? They have one language politically, Arabic, and they have one religion, Islam. That's why you don't even hear people are complaining, why can't Palestinians go to Saudi Arabia and these other Arab countries? Do you know why? They know they can. Yes, they know it. They know it. You'll go to an Islamic country, you'll just practice your Islam very well. They just want that land to be theirs. That's the reason why they're not leaving Palestine. But they can. They can go with ease. Very many Palestinians live in Saudi Arabia. They can go and live. They know Arabic. They are Islam. They're Muslims. You see? You see why America is a political union that has succeeded economically? They have one currency. They have one language, English. And now the war they're having is Hispanics. What they're supposed to do to the Hispanics, teach them English. And then teach the English speakers Spanish, which they are doing. The young people in America, especially those in Texas and all of these southern states, they are learning Spanish. That's good. Yes. That's now America is going to become a bilingual country where there will be Spanish and English. And Spanish is nice. It's a very nice language, by the way. Romantic. Filled with R's all over. And hobla and esperon, all of that lovely rolling of the tongue. So that's what's going to happen in America. It will be a bilingual country with Spanish and English, and therefore that means there'll be a Hispanic president one time. Yes, but we are waiting for him. Do they go to Harvard? We don't know. That's why Harvard had to change the admission and include minorities so that people can have the chance. I don't know if Marco Rubio can try, but he's a Republican. And Democrats are the most diverse, so they are the ones who are going to give a lot of presidents in the time to come because they are diverse. They are the picture of America. See, the picture of America is the diverse color. And this is why the Republicans don't want it to be like that, but it is going to be like that because there are already Hispanics who are American, so they can't chase them out. They can't throw them out. Yes, they're already Americans. So what does this mean? The Republican Party has to diversify for it to survive. Yes. By the way, what they're going through right now, it's also transitional chaos. They have to bow to diversification. Yes. And to do that, they have to. That's why the LGBT movement has to be in the. There are Republicans who are LGBTQ. They have to come out. There is no, otherwise the party is dead, because the real America. You see, the real America, it voted for Hillary Clinton. The public, that one, the public vote went to the Democrats. Why? That is the color of America. It is diverse, and it's getting more diverse, more and more and more. So you can't run away from that reality that is happening there. So now we have decided, we've shown you. Now, do you know why the African Union is not a very successful political union? It's because it is very diverse. They have more than one language, and they don't even have one currency. So that's why the African Union is not a very successful union like the European Union. If the African Union had one currency, my goodness, today, Africa just said we are going to use one. You see, that's what Gaddafi had planned. One currency. Africa would be the richest union. Yes. I'm telling you. It is the truth. This is the political article we're talking about. Participation in government. I'm participating in African Union government. That is the way. Because I can go to Nigeria with the African dollar. I can go to Ethiopia with the African dollar. The Botswana with the African dollar. Just imagine, it's, you know, one currency makes your country one, your continent one country. Yes. One currency is enough to make it one continent, one country. Even the world, if the world was using one, of course the world uses one currency for foreign exchange, that's the US dollar. But I'm saying, if you had all national currencies were dissolved into one currency, like let's say the US dollar, that all countries are using the US dollar. Oh, my friends, you don't need to destroy borders. You are a global citizen. Because if you get tired of staying in Qatar, you can go and move into Finland, because they are using the US dollar. And they will pay you the same salary they were paying you in Qatar, because the dollar, the wages are the same for that job. It would be beautiful. But because currencies are different, you may not move. You see why people leave Uganda is because the currency is very weak. So you'd rather go and be paid in a country like America because the currency is strong, than stay in Uganda where the currency is weak and therefore your economy is weak. You see? So that's what I'm telling you about African Union. African Union's problem, no political unity because they have more than one language. So what's the solution? Teach English. Yes. Teach English. Every African child in the 21st century should have English as their language. Even though they'll know the mother tongue and the other languages, but they should also learn English. So that by 30 years from now, and that is around 2050, all the African political leaders that will be rising, they can speak English, they can read, they can write in English, and they can, when they hold sessions, they'll just be in English. And when they make laws, they'll be in English, and when they work in the offices, they'll be in English. So that's my solution for the African Union. Then, to be a successful economic union, one currency. That's all. Just one currency. Just get one currency, and get, like the way USA did, the Federal Reserve Bank. You have a reserve bank for Africa with one currency. You're done. A currency destroys, and I like the word currency. It is water. You know, the currents of water and electricity, electrical currents and water currents. They flow. And have you seen water when it flows? It does not know borders. It will seep through. And the same to electricity. Electricity knows no borders. It just knows Give me a line, I will go through the line, even if it crosses the border. And air currents, they're even worse. They don't know borders. Air currents just pass through. So currency, if you want to destroy borders, get a currency. You see what happened in Europe? They got the euro. The borders died immediately. Because you go to France, you can use the euro. You go to Germany, you can use the euro. In the past, you had to change your French francs into Dutch marks when you go to Germany. So that's not a current. You see, you have to switch. And if the exchange rate is bad, you make loss. So that making of loss controls your movement to that country. So what happens is, now Europe has a euro. So I go to France, I then go to Germany. Look at the shooter who has been arrested that caused mayhem in France. He was convicted in 3 different European countries. You see why was that possible? Because they have one currency. So this man can move to country to country to country to country. Actually, what's happening to EU? They are going to become America. You know, in America, you can move to all the 50 states, 50 years. 1 year you stay in one state, next year the other one. You can spend 50 years of your life, you live in 50 different states. So that's what is happening in Europe, because now you can move everywhere. They shouldn't change the system. It should just stay like that. And then what I'm encouraging is Africa should really do a good job. It's lagging because of the divisions. Yes, it's lagging, and the solution, they would start with a currency. Just get one currency. Close your eyes, get it, and pay doctors the same way you pay doctors in Nigeria. Is the same way you pay doctors in Kenya. The same way you pay doctors in South Africa. You will see. I know population will say, but if you pay doctors very well in Nigeria, it will make some doctors come. No, it won't. It's balancing the books. You see, Nigerians will now live in Chad because there is an African dollar. You can use the African dollar in Chad. And the Nigerians are building Nigeria beautifully, especially in the south. They can go and build Chad because they will be using the African dollar. Yes, so what will happen? Africans will not need to move about to Europe. They can just stay in Africa and build it. The Aliko Dangote, if we get one currency, the man is a magnet and a half. Imagine he's a magnet without the African dollar. What if he gets it? He can open companies in every African country, and he's done. He can sleep. Doesn't need to even go to America to put up a company. So this is political unions, and what I'm doing now is I'm participating in government, in the government of my country. And my country is not only in Africa, it's the whole world. I believe I'm a global citizen. So that's why I give my views about America, I give my views about Europe, I give my views about Africa. Yes. Much as I give my views of Kenya, my country, I am giving my views of my continent, which is my country. I believe Africa is a country because if we have one currency, we are one country. Yeah. And if we have one one language, then we have one country as a world. Yes. Do you know why the Commonwealth is as successful and why Britain is even leaving EU? It is because Britain has another block it is in called the Commonwealth. And this Commonwealth, do you know what unites them? They have a common language. Even look at them, they even said it commonwealth. Common language, common legal system. As we saw the legal systems, countries that have common law are countries that were colonized by Britain. It's a clever game they played, because countries have common law system. So what does this mean? Even the way money is, because money is legal tender. So even how money flows, I am advising now common law countries that were colonized by Britain. If you want to know your economy, look at Britain. That the British system is your system. Any country that was colonized by Britain, that is the British system is your system. So right now Brexit is it's affecting common law countries and countries that were colonized by Britain, because Britain was weighing the balance. Where do we pour our energy? Do we pour our energy in EU, a union that doesn't look so like ours, or we pour our energy on the Commonwealth Union, that it's a union that looks like ours? You see? And they have said, we'd rather let us stick to a union that looks like ours, the Commonwealth system, because there's one language, common history, and then there's no common currency yet, and it's impossible to have that. But they'll still do the foreign exchange, the usual foreign exchange. It's very important. Brexit is even affecting African countries that are connected to Britain, like in Commonwealth, because now when you trade with Britain as an African country, of course you will now wire your US dollars to Britain, but not to the EU. You see, and the problem of Brexit is that it's nationalizing Europe, because another country will say, oh my, Britain is gaining, let's get out of EU. They get out of EU. So this national country now also comes to do trade in Africa. So let's say it's France now leaves EU, then now comes to Africa to get its colonies again, and then like that. So the problem of the Brexit, it's a nationalistic wave that is killing globalism. EU is a globalist organization. America is a globalist organization. Yes, they don't want to know it, but it's a fact, because the states in America have potential to be countries. You know, Eastern America is not the same as Western America. It's like Eastern Africa is not the same as Western Africa. So America is actually a globalist. United States of America, the Union, is a globalist organization. United Nations is a globalist organization. But the problem do you know what's the problem with UN? It has no one legal system. It has no one currency. It has no one language. So that's why UN is the way it is. It's weak because the diversity is so much that it has become division. Like you see, we are reading the UDHR, but we always remind you it's not a legally binding document. Reason, countries have different legal systems. And because of the doctrine of sovereignty, you cannot change those countries to accept the system. Alright guys, this is government we've talked about. We can talk about it for days and days. I love talking about politics. And we were talking about the right to take part in government. So take part in government, even in the world government. Yes, United Nations is a world government. It's just that it's a very weak world government. But it's a world government. Take part in it because you're a human. Yes, that's why I talk openly about every country's politics. It's because I know my rights. I'm taking part in world government because I'm a human. and I can be a citizen in any country in the world. No country can say no to me on the basis of freedom of movement, on the basis of freedom of association, on the basis of right to a nationality. So this, I'm empowering you this whole week of celebrating UDHR 70 years. So receive the power and go and use it.